and that he was speaking to the next generation so that they would know what to do to achieve peace in the world. It was a difficult task, he told everybody, but it could be done. There was also a representative from the United Nations, a man called Jubril Diallo, a Senegalese. He headed a unit, a new unit at the time, that was set up to use sports as one of the Millennium Development Tools agenda to drive the eradication, listen to this, the eradication, sports to drive the eradication of hunger, poverty, illiteracy, disease, HIV, AIDS in the world by the year 2015. Part of the MDG goals. Sport was to do that. And I sat there in the audience and I was asking myself, sport to get into education, to get into hunger, to get... I came back to Nigeria, I was brimming with all kinds of thoughts. Then I met Dr. Kola Akinroye. He's the president of the Nigerian Heart Foundation. He invited me and wanted me to be a consultant to the Nigerian Heart Foundation. Consultant, Heart Foundation, I'm a football man. And he said, yes, we'll use your popularity to promote golf, a golf tournament we're organizing to bring awareness to Nigerians about the scourge of non-communicable diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, just name them. He said 34 million Nigerians at that time had one heart-related problem or the other. 34 million Nigerians. And do I know that the life expectancy had dropped to 52? That means that, you see, our youths, our young people, they would, on the average, not live beyond 52 years of age. Not only because of the non-communicable diseases, but for other factors as well. But those were the statistics. Young men are dropping and dying. And he said, Shegun, do you know why? A sedentary lifestyle. Children no longer walk the long distances to school. Children sit at home in front of television sets. Children are taken by car to school and brought back. Children stay with their telephones all day. He said, look, the biggest cure of non-communicable disease in the world is physical activity, of which sport is a major part. It was an eye-opener. I don't want to tell you what happened after that, because Akinroye took me as a resource person to the 13th Public Health Congress in Ethiopia, before 4,000 medical personnel, for me to come and tell them, after my visit to the US in 2006, after he had made me a consultant, the work that I did with him in that area, he said I should come to Ethiopia and tell them, because it was beneficial work to the youth of the world. I went there and I came back. He took me to Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta University, where I sat with 5 professors from 4 different African countries and 1 or 2 from Canada, and they were discussing something I heard for the first time: active transport. That is the distance that a person covers with physical activity every day, and how that impacts on non-communicable disease again, longevity, and so on and so forth. And I sat there mesmerized. And he was telling me that, Shegun, look, the work that you are doing with kids in your school is going to be our laboratory test for how efficient, how effective what we are prescribing are. I own a school. That school is a laboratory. That school is based in Wasimi in Ogun State. It is not your normal school. It does normal education, secondary school education. But I tell you, the foundation is that I wanted to find out these things that I heard, if they actually work. I went to the governor of Borno State, Alhaji Shetima Kashim, and I told him, the state is ravaged with the insurgency. So many children out of school. Roman was saying 10 million. Ezekwesili told us 16 million out of school children in Nigeria. 16 million. And that was several years ago. And I sold it to him. I said, look, I have a school. I just came back from America. They told us that we could use sports to drive the eradication of illiteracy. How do you do that? My own thought is that we would lure those children who are passionate about sports, who don't like education but want to play sports. We would give them a condition. If you want to play at your sport, come and do it within an institution. If you do it, then you get a combination of the two. The elements conspired again. I got an invitation to become chairman of the National Academical Sports Committee, which gave me access to all the secondary school students in Nigeria. For me to now make a pronouncement to say, look, if you want to play football for Nigeria at under 17, you must be in school. If you are not in school, you cannot play. That was a way to compel them to go to school. But they told me that children in Borno, their education, they can't go to school, they can't. That's why I went to see Shetima. And I explained what I wanted to do. He agreed that he would give me 5 boys who were idle anyway. They were out of school, they loved football. He sent them to my school. And we had this experiment for 2.5 years. We developed a teaching methodology that was simple, that was easy, that was use of pictures and all of that. And these guys, I assured them that it would not tamper with their religion. Because in the west of Nigeria, they had solved the problem of religion and Western education. Go to the west, you will never find that problem. They had solved it. So I assured him, said, okay, send them. And we sent those boys. Their religion was not affected. In 2.5 years, 3 of them sat for WAEC. These were people who could hardly speak a word of English. 3 of them sat for WAEC, passed their WAEC, did their pre-university exams, passed their exams. They are all 3 in universities in Nigeria today. 2 of them were so bad that we had to get them special teachers who spent all that time with them. At the end of the 3rd year, when those 3 were graduating, these 2 would not go away. They said they must graduate. These were people who did not even think of Western education to start with. They must graduate. Their story is unfortunate because for some reason, the problem in Borno State must have overwhelmed the governor, and he didn't look in that direction anymore. Those lads, I don't know what happened to them because they went and they are not back, which is my regret. I wish that we had taken it up somehow to give them, but I believe they will still get a good education. That was the school, experimenting with people. I took results of intensive sports. What is the effect of intensive sports on young children? Most schools all over the world do 1 or 2 days of sports a week. My school does every day 3 hours of sports. These were children, mostly, who ordinarily never want to go to school. They don't want to school. Their parents come and beg me. Look, this child says, if I don't play football, I will not go anything. I will not. I said, bring that child. We have difficult children. And we convince them, we teach them, we give them so much sports that they collapse. In 7 years that we have been graduating students, it's a very small school. We have about 100 graduates out of that school. 35 of them who came into that school, not with any special talent in sport, not with any desire for education. But in the 3 years and now 6 years that they spent in that school,